Special posted meeting of Vesuvius Town Council on Wednesday, February the 6th, 2013, 0900 in council chambers. Purpose of this meeting is the second go-around with the additions and tweaks to the 2013 budget for the town of Vesuvius, and we will be presenting our changes and possibly some rationales as to why. This is a public meeting, and I'll turn this over to Mr. Jim Zackel, who will be doing the budget presentation. Mr. Zackel, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. So I'm just going to go through my report regarding the 2013 to 2017 financial plan. Section 165 of the Community Charter requires municipalities to prepare a financial plan for a period of 5 years, which is adopted by bylaw annually. The Charter also requires Council to undertake a process of public consultation regarding the proposed financial plan before it's adopted. At our special open meeting of Council on January 30th, Council reviewed the budget information and provided direction to staff. The information in the financial plan as attached reflects those directions. So financial plan bylaw 1298-2013 is now being presented for Council's consideration. Financial plan requirements. Financial plan must be adopted by bylaw at any time before the annual property tax bylaw is adopted. Section 197(1) requires Council to adopt the annual property tax bylaw before May 15th. A financial plan must set out the proposed expenditures of the municipality, proposed revenue sources, proposed transfers between funds. The information must be set out for each of the 5 years covered in the financial plan. The Act requires certain particulars must be included, however, the amount of detail is a matter for local determination. The financial plan must not plan for a deficit, and the total proposed revenue sources plus transfers to from other funds must not exceed the total proposed expenditures and transfers to other funds. Public consultation requirements. Section 166 of the Community Charter requires Council to undertake a process of public consultation regarding a proposed financial plan before it's adopted. The Act does not specify the format of public consultation process, and it may be varied at Council's discretion to suit the local community. Council was presented with the budget at the special open meeting on January 30th with the financial information available on the town's website. From budget deliberations at the January 30th meeting, Council requested that a public input session be held prior to Council giving the financial plan bylaw second and third readings. This date is tentatively set for February 12th, 2013. The budget assumptions we've made are maintain current levels of service in all facilities and operations, complete priority projects identified by Council and department directors, identify sufficient contingency to respond to unforeseen expenditures, decrease capital expenditures to maintain current service levels, maintain property tax policy of increases to cost of living as directed by the current financial plan objectives and policy, establish a police reserve fund to lessen the impact when the town goes over 5,000 population. So some of our highlights that are changes from our operating budget: the consumer price index for Vancouver increased by 5%. The transportation consumer price index increased by 0.7%. Non-market change, which is new construction tax dollars for us, is $9,100 for 2013. QP, their wages increased by 2%, and exempt salaries are estimated at 2%. Highlighted changes, at the direction of Council at the January 30th budget meeting, the budget is being presented to Council with a 1.83 increase to property taxes. This is an increase of $42,460 in tax-based revenue. 1% of this is allocated for future RCMP costs for $23,200, and 0.83% is to offset the increase in operating costs of $19,260. Some user fees that are proposed to be increased is the garbage and recycling fees increasing by $10, tipping fees to be increased in conjunction with Campbell Mountain Landfill, sewer rates to increase by $7.13 annually, water rates and water district rates to increase by $12 a year. A museum parcel tax will be added to start to pay for the debt of the purchased property for the museum. We've got some new sources of revenue in 2013, which include the home hardware lease, Destination Osoyoos lease, and the Gyro Park and other leases. Some significant increases or changes to operating expenditures include insurance. This budget went up by $14,200 in 2013, with liability insurance being the main portion of that. Fire department operating budget is actually down by $3,780. Bylaw enforcement went up by $30,020 to allow for additional RCMP and bylaw enforcement in 2013. Community development is down by $45,800. Landfill budget went up by $23,900 due to the increase in contracts, CPI and TCPI increases. The parks budget went up by $43,950, and this is mainly due to the washroom maintenance contract. Resort municipality projects, town is still waiting for province approval for funding in 2013, but the total funding that we're expecting to get is $260,000 for 2013. General debt went up by $4,900 to allow for the payment of the interest portion of the debt on the Cottonwood Road project. General operating expenditures, less transfers to other governments, transfers to reserves, resort municipality, contingencies, and capital expenditures has increased by $84,400, which is a 1.85% increase. Sewer operating expenditures had a 2.26% increase, and the water operating expenditures had a 2.46% increase. Transfers to reserves. In our general fund, a new reserve that councils wish to establish is the RCMP. $76,800 is in our budget to be transferred to reserves for RCMP for 2013. This is being funded from a 1% increase to taxation, which is $23,200, and the balance coming from general surplus. In our 2014 to 2017 budget, we have $23,200 being utilized as transferred to reserve for RCMP. We have marina of $11,500 being transferred to reserves. Under the water fund, water pump and motor replacement, $20,000. Reserve cleaning, $10,000. Leak detection, line cleaning, $20,000. Water reserves, $223,072. Contingency allowances. We've established a contingency allowance in our three funds: the general fund of $50,000, sewer fund of $30,000, and water fund of $20,000. This is to allow for unforeseen things that happen during the year in our community, and it gives council the ability to take care of those. Funds available for capital expenditures. General operating fund is $451,385. This is slightly up from 2012. Sewer operating funds, $419,995, again slightly up. Water operating funds available for capital expenditures, $493,272. So the cost to the average single-family residence, property taxes increasing $12.23. General debt, $1.23. Parcel tax, maximum amount would be $20.96, but from the RDOS proposal, they were thinking that was going to be down in a $13 range, but we're still waiting for the number of parcels to come through. Garbage and recycling, $10, sewer, $7, and water, $12. So implications for our community. A significant amount of capital projects are planned for 2013 that will enhance the community and improve the infrastructure in the town and rural service areas. Organizational, no organizational changes are noted. There's no new staff. Budget, user fees for garbage collection, water, and sewer have increased a combined $29.13 for single-family residents. 1.83% increase to property taxes after new construction tax dollars are added, with 1% of that increase going towards RCMP reserve. On sustainability, we have working to ensure maintaining levels of service for the community and financial sustainability for the town. So the options before council here, and I'll get into just quickly listing off the 2013 capital expenditures that we've got proposed as well. But for council to give first reading of 5-year financial plan bylaw 1298-2013, or the second option is to make additional changes to the 5-year financial plan and bring forward to first reading of the bylaw.
Mr. Zackel, I have a question just while we're here. Give you a bit of a break. When we were looking at those costs coming in, cost to the average single family,
Yes.
and it was totaled out at $63 with a possibility of that being a little bit less depending on the number of properties for the museum property tax. What is the average assessment, so that people can look at their assessment statement and say, my taxes are going to go up $60 or whatever they're going to happen there?
When we've been talking about the total tax increase, we're talking about the total tax dollars increase. The average assessed value in 2012 was, I believe, $377,000. I'm thinking that the average assessed value for a single-family residence in 2013 is something like $317,000, if I'm not mistaken. As long as the average assessment is the same, then they're looking at a 1.83% increase. Okay. If their assessed value went up more or went down less than the assessment, they're going to pay a little bit more, right. And likewise the opposite way.
Because the assessments are like this, so they're within that median band. Would that 1.8 then that would translate to the $63 figure?
That is correct.
The average assessment.
That's correct.
If you were common, if you built a great big garage out the back and your assessment went up, that's going to skew that number.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
So now I'll just go over the list of the 2013 capital projects as amended from our January 13th or January 30th meeting. So we've got parkland acquisitions of $200,000. We got under general planning, Southeast Meadowlark design guidelines of $11,600. Gyro Park plan update to our water master plan, $25,900. Parks, trails, and alternative transportation plan of $5,000. Goose management plan of $5,000. Downtown parking plan of $10,000. Community services plan of $40,000, and this is on page 40. We've got the road management plan of $25,000. DCC bylaw update of $10,000. Under office equipment, computer equipment, $52,400. Furniture and equipment, $7,000. Under roads, Spartan Drive Phase 2 Part 3, $356,000. Cottonwood Drive, Highway 3 to the remainder of Lot 1. This is the one that we got the borrowing approved by the electors in 2012 of $409,000. Lane reconstruction, south of Main Street, $98,000. 45th and Highway 3 intersection completion, $178,000. The Oasis development is in here. The Nighthawk Drive development is in here. We've got overlays for Lambert Court of $23,600. Public Works equipment attachments of $10,000. Under Community Services, Parks and Green Space, sidewalk walkway to Dividend Ridge, that's to just finish the completion of $5,000. Jack Shaw winterized washrooms of $85,000. Dog Park upgrades of $10,000. Splash Park of $300,000, with $200,000 coming from donations and fundraising grants. BMX track upgrades of $5,000. Outdoor playground equipment, $10,000. Fitness equipment, $10,000. Stage upgrades of $17,500. Fencing, curbs at the Sonora Center parking lot, $2,500. Class software upgrades of $3,200. Beach access improvements, $10,000. Trail-wide interpretive signage, $5,000. Marina boat launch extensions, $19,000. Multi-purpose plaza, $225,000 down at the waterfront park. Waterfront landscaping, $178,000. Fire hall pre-design and design of $106,100. Town hall and gazebo and painting, $20,000. Building accessibility renovations, $20,000. Under stormwater management, We got 36th Avenue stormwater treatment of $100,000. Bayview Crescent area stormwater treatment $150,000. Gala Crescent storm outfall of $84,000. And Highway 3 storm interceptor for Phase 1 design of $30,000. Under other, we've got landfill final cover for Phase 1 of $50,000. Landfill scale display of $8,000. Landfill buffer area project for septic ponds of $8,000. Town electrical charging station of $14,000. Streetlight upgrades at White Sands of $30,000. Streetlight upgrades at 115th Street of $31,400. And a guardrail down on Spartan Drive by White Sands of $4,350. And fire department capital equipment of $46,500. So there's quite a list of general capital expenditures in 2013 to be are being proposed to be completed. On page 147, under the sewer fund, we have the Northwest Sector Sewer Project of $69,000. This is just to complete the project. We got reclaimed water system expansion to Desert Park, $120,000. Reclaimed water system expansion Part 2 to the high school of $657,000. Spartan Drive Phase 2 Part 3, this is a sewer component of that, of $33,000. We've got a main lift force main upgrading of $750,000. The Oasis Vedette Drive, this is a development project of $70,800. SCADA upgrades of $42,500. A water sewer capacity service plan, $25,000 in the sewer fund. Sewer extension to 45th of $70,000. Nighthawk development for the sewer portion, and odor control for the border lift station. And that's the sewer capital projects. Under page 169, our water fund, we have our groundwater under direct influence report, $4,700. We got our Spartan Drive Phase 2 Part 3, which is water component, for $22,000. The Oasis development's in here for the water component. We've got the water extension to 45th Street of $60,000. SCADA upgrades of $42,500. The Nighthawk development, their water component. We've got our booster station upgrade of $104,000. We got a water supply for Jack Shaw, Legion Beach, and the proposed spray park of $72,000. We got our water and sewer service capacity plan. This $25,000 was allocated to the water fund. And we've got water extension to Willow Beach of $1,180,000, which would be paid 100% by the developer. And that's the water capital projects that are in there for 2013. And that's all the information. I could explain how much is being utilized from reserves over the next 5 years if you wish.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Find that page. Okay, reserve balance, this is from general fund. In 2013, we are proposing to use $590,890.
What page was that?
Oh, I'm sorry, 231. So under the general fund, we are proposing to use $590,890 for 2013. In 2014, $426,975. In 2015, $351,285, and in 2016, $87. So with our surpluses and reserves, we're able to accomplish everything in our 5-year financial plan with current funding that is available. Under the sewer fund, we're utilizing $1,217,505 of our reserves. In 2014, $563,530. In 2015, $993,970. And then likewise, we have the funding in there to accomplish everything that's within this package. In the water fund, we're using no reserve funds in 2013. We're using $473,633 in 2014, $149,063 in 2016, $56,353 in 2017. Now this entire budget package is posted on the town's website. We also have a copy available at the town counter if any of the public is wanting to take a look at that for review.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So again, this information is available for people to have a further look at, and I think, as you can see by Mr. Zackel's presentation, that council has really moved towards a lot of infrastructure projects this year. Quite heavy into sewer, water, and sort of a new area we're going into. We've always been into some stormwater, but there's quite a stormwater management, but there's quite a bit of money this year going into that stormwater situation. We have a couple of low-lying areas in town here that have, I'm sure if you read the media releases in the newspapers, we've had quite a bit of trouble there. So we are starting to address some of that. Some of it is fairly complicated. We have the Ministry of Transportation, which would be the BC Ministry Highways Department that we have to work in conjunction with. But we are moving ahead on that. Again, infrastructure seems to be king this year. There's a few little bonuses in there. The splash park having a strong direction in to get that established, but again, that is local fundraising. The money that the town has going into that splash park, that $104,000, and I'm close. It changes a little bit because I don't have it quite on the right number, but it's in that $100,000 range. That was from the previous application for that splash park, going back to when the Suez Credit Union $60,000 money, and that's got to be going back 3 or 4 years. But that money has been kept in reserve, and so now we're looking at contributing that money towards the splash park. So I really hope that goes ahead. And again, there's a kickoff on that, and there's fundraising, and there's a thermometer sign out in front of Town Hall. And I think all the good citizens of Osoyoos should start looking at how they're going to contribute to and get a mention for them or their family name or things like that in Osoyoos as we bring this great feature to the town. So again, the information is available. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Try that again. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, for the benefit of some of the people that may be watching on the internet, I know this is a little redundant, and some of the comments that I might make over the next minute or so have all been talked about, but we've really never, brought this budget to the public. This would be our first real movement in that area. But all across Canada, the common denominator that all municipalities, whether you be a big city like Toronto or a small community like Osoyoos, have all been based on infrastructure and the lack of funding available to do anything. Some municipalities are just devastated and trying to provide their mandate, and that being sewer and water and some of the other things that we have to provide. And I feel like I need to promote this budget a little bit and really emphasize how much funding we are actually putting into infrastructure improvements in our community. One of the major projects that we're going to undertake, and it looks like it's going to become a reality very soon, is the upgrade to our lift station, which is currently on a beach area that's very popular down there. And this funding is going to be somewhere in the order of about $750,000. It's outlined in our budget and everything. And I'm hoping at the end of the day that we can take that pump station right off that beach and open it up, maybe move it to a more concealed location where it's not so obvious. But really, this is the line that handles most of the sewage in our town, and it's how we get that sewage up to the ponds where it's eventually treated and so on and so forth. In the overall scheme of things, this is on a scale to 1 to 10, about a 10 on infrastructure improvements in our community. It's a big budget item, But really, you know, we are so lucky in our community to be able to even, you know, think about doing this, let alone actually doing it. So many other communities across Canada just do not have these opportunities, and many of these services are failing. And so I have a lot of confidence in the strength of this budget that we have right now because of the infrastructure changes. That's only one of them. There are many, many other ones. And good on staff for bringing that forward and realizing that it's a necessity that we have to do it. Start with the initial planning, and I'm thinking that we're probably going to be digging in the ground very, very soon with that project. So just wanted to comment on that. It's a big strength in this budget, and I'm really happy with that aspect of it.
Thanks, Councillor Rhodes. Councillor Ryan, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to point out as well that even though Mr. Zackel read down all the amounts of money that are going to be spent for various things, if you check the internet or come into the office and look, you'll see in the spreadsheets that much of that is shared. Some of it is completely paid for by our developers when they proceed with a project. Others are cost shared in various ways. And we've also relied on our reserves, and that also emphasizes how important the reserves are. And there's only one borrowing, and that is for Cottonwood, and that was something that we've already agreed to through a referendum. So a lot of good news there. And just to build on what Councillor Rhodes said, infrastructure is very important to us. It's a preventative thing. We're also taking steps to deal with some of the issues that came up this past year in terms of some of the flooding and the overflows of stormwater, as well as trying to catch and purify the stormwater before it finds its way into the lake. And we're going to see, I think, through our Federation of Canadian Municipalities and our federal budget, that there's going to be some news on infrastructure funding over a longer period of time, and hopefully we can tap into that by having these funds available. And lastly, it also this budget also incorporates the expansion of our spray effluent reach and new locations. So it's going to deal with any problems that we have experienced in the past of not having enough area to irrigate. So I'm very pleased with it, and I think in the preliminary work that Council did, we looked very carefully in detail at all the different individual projects that were proposed, and used deferred some and omitted others. So I think we have something that is really crucial and important, and at the same time we've tried to keep our tax increase reasonable.
Thank you. Mr. Zackel, so, and I just can't put my finger on it right now. We're dealing with 232 pages here of budget information. Somewhere I saw the perimeter fencing at the landfill at $19,000. I thought we had removed that.
We did, and that is in 2014. Okay. Is in the 2014 budget.
Forward. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so deferred from 2013.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor McCordock, please.
Yes, thank you. One of the other parts of the budget that we did a lot of talking about was the RCMP fund, and we have decided that it would be important to start putting a little bit of money into a reserve fund for the RCMP, and there may be people concerned about that. This year it is a 1%, which is equal to $23,200. At the next census, it's possible that Osoyoos, the population will go over 5,000. If that is the case, then that triggers a different funding formula for the RCMP. And we know this because I think it was Peachland that just went through this recently. They did have a reserve fund funded by people who were already there. So we haven't made it large because there may be some people saying, well, I'm not going to be here, why should I contribute to this? But it's like the other contingency funds that we have. We don't want to be caught, and so we've decided to put a little bit of money into this every year. And certainly at the time when this increase comes in the policing fund, we are going to have to pay quite a bit more. But we just felt it was important to recognize that this was something that would be, could be happening in about 3 or 4 years. So that was why that was put in there, and we kept it at 1%.
Thank you, Councilor McCordoff. And just as an addition to that, I'd just like to state that these funds, when they're going into reserves, they're into reserve for that specific use. This is not some sort of grab where it can end up in general revenue or go here or go there. They are earmarked. So with this reserve funds that's going towards future RCMP costs, if for some reason it didn't happen in the 2016 census, if it didn't happen then, that money would still be there as an RCM, as reserved for when it did go over. So it's a lock-in. I guess Mr. Zappo could probably tell us. I'm sure there is a way to move it because out of necessity, sometimes you'd have reserve funds that just aren't usable in that department anymore. But that would be a full-on legal public process. So again, these funds that we are setting aside, they are very, very prescriptive, and they are earmarked. Councillor Plante, please.
And just furthermore to that, I just wanted to talk about maybe my personal, initially I was thinking a zero as far as the RCMP reserve. And as I thought about it a little bit more and sat down and thought about it, I didn't want to leave our council future, and I didn't want to leave our financial services in the future in a position when we get over that 5,000 and that 75% tax gets put on this town. I just could not see us not moving forward with some type of reserve to try to look after some of those concerns. So it really was to look, looking forward at council at that time when we do go over the 5,000 and having to deal with what would possibly be between $700,000 and $800,000 bill. And so that's really why I decided that the 1% should be done. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Councillor Plante. Any further input from council? And I guess I'm going to talk a little bit about process. We are headed basically right now to look at giving this first reading. And there has been, the public has been invited to the meeting on the 30th and this meeting. They were full open public meetings to hear council debate this budget. We are going to give it first reading to show that we think we've got it to a level where we want to take it to the public. So we're going to give it first reading, then we're going to the public. There will be full public consultation on this, and we're looking for feedback. So please, if you're interested at all, if you have concerns, if you'd like information, there will be opportunities out there to come forward to council to talk about the budget. After that, there could still be changes. There could be a lot of changes. Then we would go to second and third reading after the public consultation. Then we would go to the final stage, the next stage, which would be adoption of the budget. So there is a lot of time out there for the public to partake in this. They've been invited so far into the process, and we're looking for any further comments right now, public comments, but it's not really that public time. Public at this point is listening. We're going to give it first reading, and that is our next step. Do I have that correct, Mr. Romanko, Ms. Van Vienen?
Yes, it's council's option to provide to give it first reading, and you know, I know we had in the reports mentioned a tentative date of the 12th for kind of a public input session. I understand that we may want to reconsider that date given some notifications, so if you know, perhaps in the after, if council chooses to give first reading, then we can take a look at setting a new date, or whether or not that date is within council's liking.
Okay, and that would be our step. We will set that process today, and again, the community can be a part of this through our webcast and their presence. So, Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'd like to make that motion based on option number 1 for council to give first reading of the 5-year financial plan bylaw 1298.2013.
Okay, and that seconder would be Councillor Ryan. We've all had a kick at this. Is there any further discussion on this? I think it's fair. I'm really happy to see that we're putting a lot of money into infrastructure. That is the core of any community. When you look at broken water mains in Quebec and a lot of the havoc that can be wrecked by insufficient attention to infrastructure, I think it allows councillors to sleep at night when we're putting our money there. So, Councillor Ryan, please.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I would take up your offer to make a final comment, and that is that we have also in this budget undertaken a much more public process than we ever have before, and not only are we inviting the public, have we in the past and today and in the future in another later this month, but also the content of the budget, the documents, is much more transparent. There are reports on all the various projects that talk about what they are, why they're needed, how they will be financed, what the outcome and the result will be, and so I really think it's important not just for people to come prepared to so look on the website, come to the office if you need to, and look at the budget book, and if you have a question about anything, just check that report, and it could well answer your questions or at least give you additional information.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Anything further on the motion to give this first reading? All in favor? Opposed? We have given the budget and the 5-year financial plan its first reading. Now we have unfortunately we had a little glitch in our program, and the process was going to be public consultation. Council was very excited about it on February the 12th, next Tuesday. That's correct. And we missed the newspaper notification. So we were on the website. I would like to see that. We can't get it out in time in the newspaper. And I don't know what I guess we can actually waive some issues. I'll get Ms. Van Vien in here in a minute. But maybe, and I'm looking at, can we do radio? Can we put out a flyer into people's mailboxes? Because I really would like to have it as a bit of a town hall meeting with councillors and that. So we'll go to Ms. Van Vienen first to look at our legal processes.
Okay, thank you. As far as the community charter and our council procedure bylaw are concerned, we can have notice with 24-hour notice by posting on the bulletin board here at the office and putting it up on our website. So there is no advertising requirements. That would be something that council can choose to do, but it's not a requirement under the charter or our procedure bylaw.
Okay, so we're all legal if we continue with this process. So then we would have the choice of maybe doing a radio ad if we wanted to further get this information to the public. I mean, there's a lot of people that are on our website and on our e-news, but there's an awful lot of people that aren't. So we have some options out there. Over to council, please. Councillor Rhodes.
Thanks again, Mr. Mayor. So I'd like to just clarify that that meeting that's scheduled for the 12th can be changed, and I'm not sure if we go through a resolution process here with that, but I would like to suggest perhaps changing that to a later date to allow us to do some good solid advertising in the paper. I know that the opportunity to receive ideas and opinions about the budget by email is there, but I felt that this first time invitation to members of the public to actually come and speak to us before the budget is finally approved is so important, and it's part of our mandate of transparency. It's part of us getting information from the public, and I'm not even concerned about the possibility of nobody showing up for it. I mean, I understand that can happen, but I still think that opportunity should be there, and I think that advertising in the paper should be a little bit of a guideline and an opportunity for us to perhaps delay this meeting date for a week so we can do some good solid advertising in the paper or other mediums as well, like the radio and so on, and of course our e-news. I'd like to suggest that if we need to do a resolution, I'd be prepared to do that as well. I'm not sure what the process is, but that's how I feel about it.
Okay, I'm just going to hold asking for that resolution at this point, just for a little bit more information that I think we need. Mr. Remenko, please.
Yes, we didn't set that meeting date by resolution, so there's no need to pass a resolution to change anything. They were tentative dates. Just looking at the schedule, I think our goal was to have the budget go for final reading on March 4th. We can still do that within within the time frames. Looking at the calendar. And let's say good promotion. We could have the meeting on the 20th of February, which is a Wednesday. That would give us two weeks in the paper, and would then provide Mr. Zackel an opportunity after that to make any changes, and council could do second and third reading that night if they chose to, and depending on what the public input was.
Yes.
And alternatively, we could go to a special meeting the week after that, or within 24 hours. We just need 24 hours notice to give second and third reading if there was a need for somber thought for 24 hours. And then we could go to final reading on March 4th. And the March 4th is, there's a couple of things. Just a reminder to council is that we were trying to get the budget approved so that we could start our projects, get our tenders out early. That's kind of the major driving force. We are 6 weeks ahead of last year, and I think we're probably 6 weeks ahead of the year before that. So we're trying to get our tenders out early so we can capture some good pricing, and so that's schedule-wise. It's a matter of what council to have a second special meeting, or to you could delay the decision making beyond March 4th if you had to.
Not our desire, and as an additional comment to Mr. Remenko, because we're trying to get this going earlier and get to tender, we already gave a couple of projects pre-budget approval because of the time frame of them and wanting to get out there and getting them kicked off. So they are in the budget, but they got special pre-budget approval, and that is available also through the e-news and website. So if we were looking at the 20th and we have a council meeting on the 18th, why would we not do it on Monday the 18th at 7 o'clock? Does that? I'm just throwing out some options. We're here. Yeah. We're committed. I mean, This is great. This will be from 8:30 in the morning till 8:30 at night. This will be a 12-hour. But I'll just throw that option out to council.
Good. You know, we could set up a special meeting at 6 o'clock prior to the meeting. The only thing is you'd only have one advertising in the paper, which is it is due notice, and we would provide the e-news, and we could do a couple of TV or radio ads to announcements and to supplement the public notice. So 6 o'clock on the 18th should provide ample time.
Absolutely.
And even if we had to delay the 7 o'clock, or
So if we did 6, and could we do 6, and if nobody comes, go home at 7? Or do we have to?
Or if the dinner hour would interfere with 7 o'clock is
Sure. Maybe post it as 6 to 8, couple of hours. Anyway, that's up for council. So I'll open up the floor to council, please. Councilor McCordock.
Thank you. I totally agree with that. I think that having it on the 18th while we're already here makes good sense to me. And I don't think that it makes a difference to leave it till the 20th because a lot of people don't get their papers until the 21st, until Thursday. So I'm not sure that the added day would make a difference. I also have a meeting in Kelowna on the 20th, so I much prefer the 18th.
Okay. So is there a seconder for that, please? Councillor Plant. And how's everyone else's calendar? Everyone's fine with, as I say, we're pretty well committed to that. Councillor Rhodes.
So did I miss something? Was I about the motion?
Yeah, I didn't hear a motion either. I think we were just.
Oh, that wasn't. That was.
I'll make a
that was
motion, and I was
points.
seconding
Okay.
your motion, but I will certainly make that as a motion that we have it on the 18th from 6 to 8.
Okay, and the seconder was Councillor Plant. Anything further? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. So we have first reading. We have the meeting set for public consultation. We will be here. Tentative hours are 6 to 8, but we'll leave that to administration and to get that information out to the media. Anything further? Motion to adjourn. Councillor Ryan, seconder. Councillor McCordock, all in favor. Good morning, folks.